Cooling.
It's a wonderful.
On the pitch tweets he's had fun, but it's time to move on.
With corruption hitting headlines and multiple scams surfacing, an MTV Youth survey finds that over 50% think it's fine to give bribes. Does the generation that's in a hurry to make it to the top think it's okay to offer sexual favors to rise in their careers? Youth icon Priyanka Chopra admits the pressures of being successful often mean compromising your innocence at an early age. That and much more on the Age of Sinnoncence. 2,400 youngsters between the ages of 18 and 25 across 13 cities were surveyed by MTV on issues of corruption, money, sex and success. And while perhaps the findings can't be treated as conclusive, they're certainly reflective of what young India today believes. Some of those findings now coming up for you on your TV screens. 53% say it's okay to give a bribe. 39% say it's fine to accept one. 47% feel it's okay to offer sexual favors to move up in life. 90% say they want to earn more than their parents did. 85% feel that money gives them power. 64% of men feel that money increases their sex appeal. 90% of the youth agree that money is a facilitator to happiness. And 60% say they would look for shortcuts to success.
The recent fight against corruption had India's youth passionately protesting in the streets, but not all of them practice what they preach. An MTV survey reveals that more than half of today's youth say it's okay to give a bribe.
Actually, they're truthful. They're admitting that they give and take bribes because I think in today's time, bribing is a custom.
If that does not surprise you, how about this? 47% of today's youth feel it's okay to offer sexual favors to move up in life.
I'm perfectly okay with sexual favors. If somebody wants to give me some, sure.
But sexual favors, yes, maybe. Depends. But maybe yes, why not?
That morality is getting a makeover is reflected in our films as well. From the more obvious scenes in 2010's hit film Love, Sex or Dhoka to fashion, in which Priyanka Chopra's character uses sex to climb up the ladder.
Dono deals closer.
Corporate greed is reflected in Madhur Bhandarkar's film by the same name.
That's my girl.
They have confronted this bitter truth that man seems to have a sweet tooth for sex.
They are less judgmental, more accepting, and sometimes frivolous.
For director Dibakar Banerjee of Love, Sex or Dhoka, real soon turned to reality when Payal Rohatgi accused him of inviting her to the casting couch.
I did not give in to showing him my stomach because he wanted to see my stomach. He dropped me from the project.
And with reality shows bombarding us with images of couples going to any extent to get noticed,
reality television is here to stay.
These findings ring true. 60% of the youth agrees that they are looking for shortcuts to success.
In that race to get there, they're doing whatever they want to, whatever comes their way.
I think we live in a generation where no one has the time to actually take the longer route and find your way, do the hard work, go through all the crap. So everyone will take the shortcut, everyone does take the shortcut.
And look at today's youth icons. The fact that SRK charges an estimated 15 to 20 crores per movie and Dhoni charges 10 to 12 crores for an ad, that just adds to their status. So is it going downhill for our youth? Not according to everyone.
While people say that Indian youth are getting spoiled, I think Indian youth cannot be more sorted than they are today because they managed to marry the best of both worlds.
In New Delhi, I'm Pallavi Paul.
To discuss those findings with us, we have on the show tonight Anuja Chauhan. She's a best-selling author and also an advertising professional. Ruben Mascarenhas, he's the coordinator of Yuva Satta, which is the youth wing of the Lok Satta. He was in the forefront of the Anna Hazare movement here in Mumbai. Also with us, VJ Galen Mendonça from MTV. Thanks very much for being with us tonight. First of all to you, Ruben, because one of the first findings really is about giving and taking bribes. Less than a month ago, we saw these agitations against corruption here in Mumbai, also in Delhi, across the country, and a lot of people out there at the Gateway of India, at the India Gate, were young people. Do you find it surprising then that over 50% said it's okay to give a bribe?
No, not at all. Let me just throw some light on this. First, as a young person and as an Indian, I don't think that we as a generation are any less patriotic than any other generation, but when it comes to governance and politics and asserting your own rights, we really feel that no matter what you do, things don't change. And when things don't change, why really waste time doing something about it? So that's point number one. Point number two is, it's something like this, 10% of the people will always do good. No matter what, 10% of the people will do bad no matter what. And the remainder of the 80% will follow the 10% who are being consistently rewarded. So if you have good behavior going unrewarded and bad behavior going unpunished, so where is the incentive? So in the present scenario, because bribe giving really makes it easy to get things done, it's convenient. That's why people say, okay, it's okay to give a bribe.
I'd like to actually get you in, Anuja, there, because it's not just about 50% of the people saying it's okay to give a bribe, because I've heard this a lot saying, the system is such that, rather than waiting in a line for 10 hours or never getting your work done, perhaps at the passport office or somewhere else, it's just better to pay that 100 rupees. But according to these findings, that 39%, that's almost 40%, which is a lot, said that it's okay to even accept a bribe. Does that come as a shock to you, Anuja?
Not really, actually, because I'm thinking that if they've already, if they've made sense with the first part of it, which is giving the bribe, it isn't very much of a longer step to being a slightly older person accepting the bribe. So I think that's not very surprising to me.
I'm putting that question across actually because, Galen, most of us feel that, especially where bureaucratic red tape comes in, that's when you give a, you give a 50, you give 100, you give some sort of a present, your work will get done. Yeah. But most of us don't see us in that position where we'll be like, accepting the bribe and then getting the work done. Most of us don't. I mean, we say, okay, we'll give a bribe. So how does one explain this kind of a finding, where 39% are saying we wouldn't mind accepting a bribe to get work done?
All I can say is all about the money, I guess. I mean, if you're willing to pay one, at some point, I guess they're even willing to accept one. I mean, that's the only logic I see to this is that it's all about money today. Anybody and everybody wants to, at some level, make it, they want to get the money somehow or the other. So I guess accepting a bribe is a part of that. And even though it's shocking for the youth of today to speak like that, I guess they're being open enough and saying, you know what, okay, I'm going to give one, but you know what, who cares, I'm going to take one too.
Another finding which I thought people were very open about here was, the 47% who are saying that it's okay to offer sexual favors to rise up in your career. That's almost 50%. That's like half the people who were surveyed out there. You're a young woman and you have a lot of friends around you who are in the entertainment industry, in the glamour world. Do you think that's something they would say? What would your opinion be on this particular question?
I always stick by this one thing that I keep telling my friends, that some of us are blessed with clarity and some of us are blessed with an opportunity. Sadly, for the ones who are not blessed with both, tend to resort to things like that, where they feel that, okay, suppose if I'm in a scenario, especially with the glamour world that I can speak of, I've been modeling for a while and now I'm VJing. I was blessed to have an opportunity where I entered a competition and that's how I won. But for any other person to just break into an industry which is very closed, it's difficult. It's very tough. And that's when they resort to things like that, because there's so much competition. There's so many people who are coming in to Bombay, for example, every day trying to make it big in that same closed industry, that it gets really tough for you to get an edge over the others. That's when they resort to things like that. And which is why it's not shocking that 47% say that they say yes. And we're not here as moral police or anything, but it's shocking. I mean, it's